Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into a truly extraordinary story today, one that really forces us to look hard at the bond between humans and dogs. We always talk about our pets being part of the family, but today we're unpacking a source that takes that heartwarming idea and turns it into a literal, high-stakes matter of life and death.
A dog is man's best friend. We've all heard it, right? It's kind of become a cliché at this point. But the story we're exploring today, featuring a guy named Rahul and his dog Bruno, brilliantly brings this famous quote to life through a completely harrowing real-world event. It really makes you ask, what does being a best friend actually look like when the chips are totally down? So, let's set the scene. What's actually so fascinating here is just how completely normal the beginning of our story is. Picture a peaceful morning down by the lake. The weather's great, it's a perfectly picturesque day for a walk. You've got Rahul and his beloved dog Bruno just out enjoying each other's company, strolling right along the water's edge. It's that exact relaxing vibe so many of us experience with our own pets on a regular weekend. Absolutely no warning signs. Just a guy, his dog, and a beautiful, perfectly calm lake.
But it's crazy how fast things can go south. At the 0-minute mark, everything's totally fine. Pleasant weather, nice walk. 15 minutes in, Rahul decides to try and capture the moment. He tries to snap a quick photo. Look, we've all done it, leaning just a little too far to get the perfect angle of the scenery. But right at 15 minutes and 10 seconds, his foot slips. Just one simple misstep. And by 15 minutes and 12 seconds, literally 2 seconds later, he is plunged straight into deep water. It took just 2 seconds to go from a peaceful stroll to absolute sheer panic.
And here is the truly terrifying kicker. Rahul couldn't swim. Put yourself in his shoes for just a second. Imagine this sudden shock of that freezing cold water, the total disorientation of the fall, and then that immediate sinking realization that you can't stay afloat. The stakes instantly skyrocketed from a clumsy mistake into an immediate life or death situation. He's struggling in the deep water, and the panic is completely taking over.
To make matters even worse, they were completely alone. The source material notes that Rahul started crying out desperately for help. He's thrashing around in the water, looking toward the shore, just praying for literally anyone to hear him. But the lake is completely empty. The tension here is almost unbearable. It's that terrifying realization that you are totally alone in a crisis, and your own physical abilities simply aren't enough to save you.
Okay, let's break down exactly what happened next, because it's just incredible. Bruno, seeing his owner in distress, doesn't hesitate for a single second. He jumps straight into the lake. He doesn't run off down the trail to look for help, he becomes the help. Swimming rapidly, he reaches Rahul incredibly fast, and Rahul, acting on sheer survival instinct, manages to grab hold of Bruno's collar. Now think about the physics of this for a second. Bruno is essentially offering his own body as a lifeline. Using every single ounce of strength he has, this brave dog paddles and actually pulls his owner back toward the shore. He's bearing the weight of a drowning man, fighting the water, and just utterly refusing to give up.
Finally, they make it, safe on the shore. After this agonizing struggle, both of them drag themselves out of the water. The source describes them reaching the edge of the lake, completely exhausted. You can just picture the heavy breathing, the absolute physical drain on that brave little dog, and the incredible wave of relief washing over Rahul as he finally feels solid ground under him. The tension breaks. They actually made it.
The emotional weight of an ordeal like this is profound. The source details how Rahul, soaked to the bone and completely exhausted, just wraps his arms around his brave dog. He hugs him tight, with tears of absolute joy and immense gratitude streaming down his face. In that specific moment, Bruno isn't just a pet anymore, is he? He's a literal savior.
So what's the broader takeaway here? Well, it highlights the massive gap between words and actions. Spoken promises of friendship are great. We can tell our pets, our friends, our family how much we care about them all day long. But jumping into a lake to save a life, that is pure, unadulterated action. This story brilliantly illustrates how true loyalty isn't just a nice concept we talk about. It's proven by exactly what we do when the moment demands it. Bruno couldn't speak a single word of promise, but man, his actions spoke volumes.
Which brings us to the core message from our source. Loyalty has no price. It perfectly captures the invaluable nature of Bruno's devotion. You absolutely cannot buy the kind of instinctual, selfless love that makes a creature risk its own life to save yours. It's entirely priceless.
So, as we wrap up today's Explainer, I want to leave you with a thought. Do you have such a loyal friend in your life? Whether they walk on 2 legs or 4, who is the person or animal that would jump into the deep water for you? And maybe more importantly, would you do the same for them?
Take a second today to reflect on those true, action-based friendships in your own life. Thank you so much for joining me to explore Rahul and Bruno's amazing story. Keep learning, keep reflecting, and I'll see you in the next explainer.